Hello and welcome to this introductory video for the Biofuel Research Program under Dr. Morata, located at Miami-Dade College. I am George. In this video, I'll be describing the procedures for performing a lipid extraction using the Soxhlet apparatus. I will also be describing the procedures for the creation of the pellet. As future research may change procedures, always verify you are following the most current procedures. This video is current as of October 2024. Centrifuge. To first create a pellet, begin by collecting the sample you'll be processing into a pellet. If the sample is elodea or duckweed, grind your sample into a paste using a mortar or pestle and distilled water. Once your sample is a paste, put it into the blender along with more distilled water. Once your sample is a paste, transfer it into a pre-weighed test tube, taking note of the volume of sample in the test tube. Depending on the amount of paste you have, you may need to use more than one test tube, and care should be taken to ensure the volume of sample in both test tubes is equivalent. With your sample in the test tube or tubes, fill up the remaining test tubes with an equivalent volume of tap water. Then turn on the centrifuge. Open the lid and remove the 4 rotors from the centrifuge. With the rotors out of the centrifuge, place your test tubes into the rotors. Once complete, shuffle your test tubes amongst your rotors to ensure the rotors are all within 1 gram of each other. Once all of your rotors are balanced, place the rotors into the centrifuge and start the centrifuge at 1000 revolutions per minute. Once at least 15 seconds have passed at 1000 RPM, without any errors, increase the speed by 1000 RPM and wait another 15 seconds. Repeat this step until you reach 4000 RPM. Once the centrifuge reaches 4000 RPM, wait 15 minutes. After 15 minutes have passed, stop the centrifuge and decant the test tube or tubes that contain your sample. If you had multiple test tubes with sample, combine the tubes using a spatula and repeat the centrifuge procedures to ensure your sample is free of excess liquid. At this point, reweigh the test tube that contains your sample and subtract it from the weight of the empty test tube to get the weight of your sample in grams. Label the test tube with the name of the sample and the weight in grams. Place the labeled test tube into the fridge until you are ready to perform a Soxhlet on the pellet. Soxhlet. I will now describe these procedures for Soxhlet extraction of liquids from a pellet. Before you begin, you will need a condenser, a Soxhlet extractor, a 500 milliliter round bottom flask, 250 milliliter of solvent, aluminum foil, a plastic tray, a pellet, 1 to 2 grams of glass wool, and a spatula. Begin by reweighing the pellet. To do so, first weigh the plastic tray, then transfer the pellet from its test tube on a plastic tray and reweigh it, subtracting the weight of the plastic tray from the total weight of the plastic tray and the pellet. This weight should be the same as the weight previously indicated on the test tube the pellet was stored in. After confirming the weight of the pellet has not changed, assemble the Soxhlet apparatus. To do so, begin by placing the stand inside the fume hood, such that the stand's arm is facing away from the water connection. Next, attach the heating mantle's cable to the receptacle on the back of the heating mantle, and place the heating mantle on the stand and the rear power receptacle facing away from you. With the heating mantle in place, Measure 250 milliliters of solvent. Place it into the 500 milliliter round bottom flask. Then place the flask on a heating mantle. With the flask in place, attach the Soxhlet extractor and secure it to the stand using the clamps attached to the stand. Place aluminum foil over the rear half of the heating mantle, such that it covers half of the round bottom flask and covers the rear power receptacle. Be extra cautious to ensure the aluminum foil is not touching any metal on the back of the heating mantle, as this may result in electrical current passing through the aluminum foil. With the Soxhlet extractor secured, transfer your pellet from the plastic tray into the Soxhlet extractor, ensuring it does not block the siphon arm. Then, spread the glass wool over the pellet using a spatula, again ensuring that neither the pellet nor the glass wool blocks the siphon arm. With the pellet and the glass wool in place, attach the condenser to the Soxhlet extractor and secure the condenser using the clamps on a stand. With the condenser secured, attach the water inlet tube to the appropriate spout. Additionally, insert the outlet water tube into the drain. Then slowly turn on the water until the condenser coils are filled and have no air gaps. Then turn on the heating mantle and turn the power dial to midway between the first and second marks. Let the Soxhlet apparatus run for a predetermined number of hours, monitoring it to ensure the temperature of the round bottom flask. Once the predetermined number of hours has elapsed, repeat the previous steps in reverse order to disassemble the Soxhlet. Dispose of the glass wool and pellet into the biohazard bin. Seal your flask using parafilm and attach an appropriate label. That concludes the procedures for performing lipid extraction using Soxhlet apparatus. When in doubt, consult this video or ask a lab leader for assistance.